right, before we get into this episode, let's thank our sponsor, the amazing Four Sigmatic. So I have been using Four Sigmatic mushroom coffee and a bunch of their different products for a very long time now. You could say that I am a super fan of Four Sigmatic. We've had their founder, Taro, on the podcast, episode 85, if you're interested in listening and learning more. And you should know, before we get into details, that you can use the code BLONDE for 15% off of all Four Sigmatic products. And you can also go to foursigmatic.com/blonde to shop my favorites, from chaga to mushroom hot cacao, which is basically a delicious hot chocolate, to the original OG mushroom coffee that got me off of cold brew, the cold brew coffee addiction that I had that wasn't really serving my hormones very well. But chaga and mushroom coffee definitely make my body happy, make my hormones and my adrenals happy. They still give me such alertness and energy, and they taste delicious. I love to make different elixirs with all different Four Sigmatic products and either almond milk or coconut milk, or sometimes just hot water, depending on what I am feeling that morning. I love to use coconut butter for a little vegan bulletproof style morning drink sometimes. I also love their mushroom matcha. So whether you're a matcha person, a coffee person, a mocha person, or you're interested in trying different adaptogens like lion's mane, cordyceps, chaga, and more, you have a lot to learn and a lot to try with Four Sigmatic. So it's hard for me to even say what my favorites are anymore because I've changed so much. Currently, I love their 10 mushroom blend, which blends together a bunch of different adaptogenic mushrooms and herbs that are also really good for a lot of the health issues that I'm dealing with right now because of Lyme disease, from fatigue to joint pain, etc. There's so many different kinds of mushrooms in there. The mushroom kingdom is huge, so don't think of shiitake mushrooms like you would have in some kind of stir fry. Think of adaptogens that work with your body to make you feel amazing and bring you back to homeostasis. So I'm such a huge fan of everything Four Sigmatic's doing. They're such kind people. All of their products are vegan, Whole30, non-GMO, organic, all the things that make them TBB approved. You can find certain caffeine-free products. Some of them have caffeine if you prefer caffeine. So go to foursigmatic.com/blonde. Use that code BLONDE, shop around. Let me know what you get. Tag me on Instagram. I can't wait to see. Now let's get into this episode. Thanks so much, Four Sigmatic. Hello and welcome to the Balanced Blonde podcast, Soul on Fire. You are listening to one of our best of the show episodes today, meaning that I am taking a brief hiatus from the show for the first time since starting it 3 years ago to focus on my health and focus on my wedding and just really enjoy this season of life. And I hope that it inspires you to put yourself first in your own life. We have nothing without our health, and I have not had my health for the last couple of years, so I am striving to get back to a healthy state in my body, in my mind, and I am so over the moon to share everything that brings. So I hope that you enjoy our 8 best of the show episodes, which are some of my favorite episodes from the show over the last couple of years, and also many of your favorites. So today you'll be listening to one of those, and I cannot wait to see how it serves you and how it inspires you. And if you've heard it before, then perhaps this time it will teach you something new. And maybe you've never heard it before, and today's the perfect day for you to listen to it. So whether it's the first option or the second option or something else, I know that you're here for a reason, and sit back, relax, and enjoy. I'm so excited to come back and host new episodes and connect with you guys. But until then, please enjoy these episodes. If the podcast inspires you, I would love and be so honored for you to leave a rating and review on iTunes and send me a screenshot to jordan@thebalancedblonde.com. And I will send you a free gift as a thank you, and thank you personally and chat with you. And I'm just so grateful for everyone listening. Also, we have a Facebook group, the Soul on Fire Podcast Tribe on Facebook. Please join us there to keep the conversation going and enjoy, live a soul on fire life. And if you're healthy, enjoy your health. I'm so eager to get back to that. And if you are also struggling with chronic illness, just know that you're not alone. We have a lot of episodes on this show pertaining to chronic illness. So give those a listen if you're interested, and enjoy. We will head into the episode now. I'm sitting here in the most beautiful living room in Venice on literally my favorite street. I couldn't believe when I was pulling onto your street that this is where you live.
A man just told me he calls it Pretty Street. It's a pretty tree-lined street in Venice.
It is. It's right off of Rose. You live right by Cafe Gratitude, Moon Juice, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
And you were saying you've lived here for 18 years.
In this area. For 18 years.
That is so amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here with two incredible people who do some of the most interesting things that I know about. You guys listening know Jenna, who's been on the podcast a couple times, sharing all of her human design knowledge. I hear from people all the time, Jenna, who have discovered human design because of you. I mean,
and because of you.
So many people. So we have Jenna here and the amazing Dara, who has not yet been on the show. We have so much to talk about. Just tell everybody what you do, because you do so much. It's so beautiful, and I want to hear.
Thank you. I do a lot, and I've done many, many things in my 50 some odd years. I have done many things, which we didn't talk about, but I definitely have done raw food, many years of showing people how to make it on YouTube and talking about decluttering and feng shui and showing how I love to demystify things that people might think would be difficult and show how easy and fun and celebratory. So then I do astrogeography, which is helping people understand the astrology of place, that some places feel really good to us and some might be more challenging, and that it's probably a really good idea to know what energies, planetary energies, you're swimming in daily, because you might be eating the best food on the planet, you might be doing your yoga, and you could be on a challenging line, and it would be good to know how to harness those energies to work in your benefit. So astrogeography, so I do intuitive sessions for people, and I do intuitive astrogeography.
So amazing.
And because I can't read for everyone, astrogeography, and I want everyone to know how to do it at any given moment in time. Like, let's say that you have a job opportunity somewhere, or all of a sudden you get an idea that you want to move somewhere, or you need to go to a wedding, you'll be able to know what energies that place is holding for you. If you take my astrogeography course, you can look it up. You can look up your boyfriends, your husbands, and know what's happening for the both of you.
That's so amazing. Until I did that with you, I had never even known that that was a thing. And we're definitely going to get
I have your map to give you today.
Oh, good.
Yes.
I can't wait. So we'll definitely talk about my map. I want to know something, though, that I've been wondering. How did the two of you meet? Because now you're
magic.
So
We don't know.
You don't?
We don't remember. I don't remember how I met you. I just remember the first time I ever met you was I was here with my ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
How long
5, 6 years ago?
Oh, you've known each other for that long.
Yeah.
I think it happened on Instagram where we just kind of found each other. And then one day she ended up in my kitchen. She ended up in my kitchen talking about human design.
Yeah. And I wasn't even doing it professionally, but the first question I asked you was, what are you in human design? You were like, I'm a projector, but
you knew?
Yeah.
How did you know about it?
I had heard about it 11 years before.
Yeah.
11 years before?
And it wasn't delivered to me in the same way that Jenna did it.
How was it delivered to you?
It just didn't sound very appealing. I mean, I got that I need to wait for an invitation, but then the rest just sounded kind of foreign and it didn't grab me. And the way Jenna explained it to me and to my daughter, it was like, yeah, tell me more. Okay, I can do this.
For sure.
Being a projector is not so bad. It's actually good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So Jenna reintroduced human design to me. I had known enough, but it sounded fun and applicable, and yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
And actually, I didn't tell you this, but I had a food company at the time, and it's only by doing Dara and Dara being an intuitive and being able to say, no, you need to do this as your career. And that's what made me do it.
Do you remember about a year and a half before you had said, what do I do about the business? And I was like, it's got to go. But it took her a while. And then one day she was talking and I just got this flash. I'm like, you need to do human design, and anything else is heavy. Anything else is just dragging bottles behind you, clanking. It was so clear. She's so good at it.
Yeah. It was so funny. And I was obviously still thinking I could never do that as a career. How could I do that? That's not a proper work thing. It's not a proper career or anything. I need to have my own physical business. And then
look at you now.
It just, Dara was that's going to be way, way more aligned with who you are.
So we keep doing this for each other because at the time I was doing just my videos, and I have a private membership site and I'm doing some things, but change was in the air last year. And she said, the thing that I find, you do all of these things so beautifully, but what about offering intuitive sessions for other people besides me?
Because I text her every day being this or this. What do we think about that? What color should I wear? Lipstick today? Literally anything she can.
So one day,
ask her anything.
She goes, I was thinking about that 6 months ago, but I even looked at Acuity, but I haven't done it. And she goes, well, about a week or two later, she's like, I'm about to announce you in 2 days. So set up your Acuity.
Yeah.
So I did it, and it's been magic. So we kind of help each other. We kind of see each other. We're seeing, or as you call it, we walk in a garden together. It's never judgmental. It's always just to lift each other up. It's a gift.
That is
cool.
so beautiful.
It's a gift.
Yeah. I mean, the reason that I wanted to have you both on together, aside from the fact that you're friends and we're all friends and I know it would be fun, is because you both do this interesting thing for a career where you just help people live their most aligned lives. And what a beautiful thing. Aside from therapy and more traditional modalities, it's very rare to stumble upon just truly doing what you do for a life, for work, because you want people to live in alignment, whether astrogeographically, whether they need to move, or human design, whether they need to decondition in so many ways. So what you both do really works very hand in hand with each other, I think.
It definitely does.
We it's interesting because I think we also are the people that need our, in a way, the fact that I need human design more than anybody probably on the planet does. And Dara, needed to, her story about how she came across Astrogeography. Actually, you should tell Jordan the story of how you moved and ended up here. But I just feel if you're so blessed, what you're learning right now and all the blessings you're getting from it is you can't help but share it. If it's something that's healing your wound, you just have to be I have literally no choice but to give it to other people.
You want to share it from the rooftops.
Yeah. You want to stand on the street corner. That's what I said. That's why I started a YouTube channel, because I'm and that was beginning the story of how I found all this stuff. But I literally could not believe no doctor had told me what I now know and want to share with people.
Isn't
about
that
eating.
The beauty of social media, that we can stand on the street corner and shout it from the rooftops, and the people who are interested will find it.
Right? We no longer have to go through an executive or get a publisher or all the old ways. You can be heard. Now you can be heard and tell the truth.
The shifting paradigm, which I have to tell you, well, we're going to go in order, and I want to hear about what brought you to LA. And then at some point in this conversation, I have to tell you both what I saw when I was on ayahuasca.
I'm dying to hear about
this. When it came to human design.
What?
Okay, I'm just going to say it.
Oh my God. Go ahead.
because I've been waiting to see you in person, Jenna. So for everybody listening, Jenna lives all over and is moving to Monaco and is only in LA. Well, a lot, but a couple times a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been wanting to tell you this in person, and I'm so excited to tell you both. So I did this whole plant medicine journey about a month and a half ago, mostly to come to the root of why am I sick and what can I do about it to heal myself and heal others. And when I was on ayahuasca, I was in a group of about 17 of us, strangers at the time, who obviously became like family.
So you didn't go with anyone you knew?
No.
Okay, wow.
I wanted to. Nobody was up for it, or the timing didn't work for the few people who were up for it. I was meant to be there alone. And I definitely see why, because I had an exorcism, and of all the people in the room, I lost it. I was screaming. I was totally in a different dimension, many, 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 many dimensions away from here. And I didn't know where I was. I didn't believe that I was ever coming back to this body, and went ballistic and was hitting people, and like
really
the shaman was trying to help me.
Wow.
And I'm skipping a lot because I just want to tell you this part.
Mhm.
I also had beautiful experiences, but I went through a really dark time, and they let me stay in the room with everyone because I refused to leave. And I screamed for 30 minutes straight, like guttural screams from, it was like other people's pain, people, my ancestry, and also people in the room. And I was releasing for other people in the room what they had come there for. And I didn't know this, but I was screaming out like, I need to find my voice, and like things, these weren't my words. These were other people's words. And they told me, because after everyone came up to me and told me, you released what I came here to release.
Wow.
Which was so powerful because
proper reflector.
Run that reflector life.
I woke up and thought, oh, everybody's going to hate me because I just ruined their night. Because what happened? So during this, I was kind of shown, I'm sure what you've seen intuitively a ton and what you've studied, the whole entirety of human design. I saw it as if it was a whole world that I was able to walk inside of. And this is a gift that you've given me, because without you, I wouldn't have even had consciousness that it existed.
Wow.
So I was like living there, walking amongst the human design charts and world. And I saw,
that's amazing,
because I didn't know anyone's human design who was there, but I saw what everybody was. And I saw that I was the only reflector there. And then I saw, of course, I'm in this cell, this organism of people. I'm releasing everybody's pain, and nothing has ever been so true. And I also saw, as a reflector, just what that means for my DNA and my body. And that's why I'm sick. And I was shown through my ancestry, I'm carrying the pain of grandmothers, great grandmothers, the whole entire lineage from my dad's side of the family. My dad's a reflector.
Wow.
My dad carried this pain from his mother, his mother's mother, mother's mother's mother. And they showed me, this is your sickness, and you chose to come into this life to heal the lineage. First, you have to heal yourself. So
oh my God.
I saw everything, and then I saw what's going to happen with human design.
Wow.
And I wish I had more consciousness of what I saw, because it was a totally different place. But I saw some things I've heard you talk about, which is that there will be new types of people.
Yeah.
New human design types. And it's just literally like we are made up of human design. Nothing had ever made more sense to me.
Wow.
In fact, it was the only thing that made sense. I was like, human design is so real.
Wow.
And I'm looking at it, and nothing else even seems real.
And it's coming out of my mouth. Like I'm showing what's going on in this room. I'm showing what's going on in society. I'm showing what's going on with generations.
Wow.
And that I chose to be a reflector. There are no coincidences.
Yeah. That's amazing. Actually, that's one of the first things that I learned from Kabbalah was like, we don't believe in coincidence. Like nothing is a coincidence. Like you have to, because they say like, if you accept full power, you also have to accept full responsibility.
Yep.
So there's no like, oh, victim mentality.
No,
like that's the first thing that they drum out of you is like, if you want to be a victim, that you take away all your power.
And there's excitement in it. So here she is with this supposed dis-ease or momentary opportunity to be the cleanest eater on the planet. And the most angelic, for those of you who haven't seen Jordan in person, there's just, I look at you and there's just like this white light. Like it's like very, very, very angelic energy.
Thank you. That's so kind. And you gifted me some grounding when I arrived at your apartment.
Like, here, have some
I might be angelic, but I'm literally 10 feet off the earth, and it makes it hard to makes it hard to interact and live because I'm just somewhere else.
Like I could go up there when I look at you into your eyes. I can go up there with you. I'm like, hold on, we need Shilajit. We need to come. We need some grounding.
Yes.
Some potatoes.
You made us some beautiful tonics and some gorgeous food.
Thank you.
Just gorgeous. Like,
thank you.
Oh, if this could be everywhere,
right?
Life would be amazing. So
it will be.
We could go on about that. It's incredible, and that's Kabbalah, incredible as well. But I would love to hear more about your story. What brought you to LA, and what introduced you to what you're doing now? Astrocartography.
Well, it's called astrocartography because, like human design, human design came in the 80s. Astrocartography came in 1978, and by an astrologer, Jim Lewis, who kind of made this very time-consuming. It just wasn't accessible to people before to be able to chart out their astrology of place. It's basically what it is. There's an astrology of place. So I was born in New Jersey on a Pluto line, which is extremely transformational, and it's a hard line to stay on forever. Usually if you're born on a Pluto line, it's just an energy of transformation, death, transformation, rebirth, creation, and over again. So I moved to Florida where I met my second husband. And I fell in love and I got married and I had a baby, and then the marriage fell apart shortly thereafter. And I felt very stuck. I couldn't I'm an artist. I've always painted murals on people's walls and sold my paintings. And then I do something new. And then I'm always active and creative. And I couldn't, besides having a baby and the ultimate act of creation, I just couldn't get my work out or seen or done. And after the divorce, I signed a piece of paper saying I wouldn't leave Palm Beach County until she was 18. And yet I felt like I was like almost drowning. Like I just was not, this wasn't my place. And I didn't know about I call it astrogeography. I named it that when I started teaching and doing sessions. But when I went to California on a trip to see a friend, and I felt like insta better, like something happened, like almost like a flower dying and then you water it and it perks up, or like cilantro in the refrigerator. When you put it in water, it just changes. That's how I felt.
You're teaching me things.
Yes. Put it in glass, in water, in the fridge, and it'll stay fresh for like a long time.
Amazing.
Yes. I have lots of those tricks. I think I'm going to do a kitchen, like things to do in the kitchen. Things you need. I think so. We'll see. But in any case, I went to California, I came home, and I had an astrologer I've been working with for years. Like I just check in, like to navigate moon and stars. And I said, what is it? Like, I feel so amazing there. And she said, well, of course you do. It's your Jupiter line. That's the planet of expansion and joy and optimism. And that's you. And you're living on a Neptune line. And that can be, while it's the highest in spirituality, it could also mean the deepest spiritual lessons. And you feel like you can't be seen on a Neptune line. And life is hard, and it could be deception and illusion. And there's some things to get from it and garner from it, but there also can be some very tough times. So I had to make my way out of Florida, which was legally not possible. But I believe there is such a thing as spiritual justice. And I checked in with energy healers and astrologers, and I meditated on it. And I pictured my daughter and I flying in the direction of California. And I came to California whenever I could. So in my astrogeography course, I kind of show people how to harness the energies. There are ways to to manipulate things. Even if you have to stay where you are, even if you can't travel to a better location astrogeographically, you can still harness those energies where you are. Because I made a major move that nobody said could ever happen. It happened. I got to be in California. But at that time, my astrologer said, it's your Jupiter line. And when you get there, Dara, and she said when, because she held space for me, because it was not an easy battle. When you get there, thousands of people want to hear what you have to say. And I have a YouTube channel and thousands. So I'm the same person, but on a Neptune line, I'm like underwater, like Neptune, god of the sea. You're like underwater, you're floating, you can't see clearly. People can't see you. But I got to my Jupiter line and it was like insta expansion.
Boom.
So I didn't know how to look it up for many, many years. I just kind of knew Jupiter's here and Neptune's there, but that's all I knew. And I was like, shouldn't I know this? Like, I need to know this. And I delved in and I studied it. And I was like, then I need to know. I think other people need to know. So like, I just like digested the information and made a course so other people can do it anytime they want.
So amazing.
Because it's like, isn't it fun to look it up? Like, and you can also say, well, where's love for me? Where's my Venus line? Or where's abundance? Where's Jupiter descending? Where on the planet are other people going to throw money at me and assistance? There's like places like that. There's a place for every human potential. So what I say to people who are living on a line, like if something's going wrong or I'm doing a session for someone, I just always look at that first because then we can rule that out. And then maybe it's something else. But if it's that and somebody's only ever been living on their Saturn line, which is very hard, I would say take a trip somewhere else just to think clearly or to think differently or to get a different perspective. And then you can know where to go based on it.
So cool.
It's so cool.
I mean,
yeah.
When Jenna first told me about what you do, I was so intrigued because I don't hear about that very often. And it's another reason why it's really cool that you do that because there's not a whole lot of people out there doing it.
No, it's under the radar. And much like you talk about in human design, the information just wasn't that palatable. It's good. Maybe it's not from someone you want to hear it from or the way they speak, or it's just not resonating with you. So the information's been there, but maybe it's been too complicated or not quite.
You know what that sounds like? What we were just talking about before we started
Totally.
recording.
What?
The Gerson
the
therapy.
SOS.
Yes.
And at SOS.
Yes.
How that can seem really inaccessible and out of style.
I had to try hard to find it. I had to read a very hard book. I had to try and find who's a doctor who could help me, who's a practitioner. My mom was sick and I'm having to search where to go in the face of society that's saying, are you crazy?
Right.
Like, why aren't you taking her to a radiologist? Why aren't you taking her to the surgeon?
Because you wanted to feed her.
Because I wanted to help her heal.
food.
And she asked for, I want to do what you do, Dara. She had a brain tumor and she said, I want to do what you do.
Oh my gosh, my heart explodes.
So if I had a source, the source that I don't want to announce something, but the source that I see you doing, a simple and palatable way for people to know how to practice this for, what did you call it? It's preventative.
Yeah, preventative. You don't have to have
and
full-blown
if I had
illness.
something to look at to go, okay, here I can go for this diet. I don't have to start reading this complicated book. Here I can go for the school or the practitioner. I had to, while she was sick and I'm trying to make all these changes in the house and the diet and the food shopping, I had to like miraculously I found someone to come and train me in it for a weekend so I could at least practice it for the remainder of her days.
That is so beautiful.
Even in passing, feeding someone beautifully like that, she got to be conscious until the last minute. She left until the last second and she got to have the most beautiful exit that I got to be a part of. So I'm a very big fan of this idea of you making the SOS diet that I've been watching and that I served you today, and the making this protocol available to people and easy and fun. I'm a fan of that for you.
Well, coming from someone as intuitive as you, who inspired Jenna to go down her human design path, I will take that.
Yeah. It's almost like the three of us, like things were handed to us like a baton. Now take it and bring it forward, and then someone else will bring it forward. So we're needed to make it palatable. Human design, astrogeography, we're all making changes. We want to get out of doing the things that are making us sick We want to be
Right.
happy. We want to decondition ourselves so that we don't get sick.
Right.
And
So you came to your Jupiter line
And
and look
then-
at you thriving.
yeah, I started, I was a jeweler, metalsmither, and I all of a sudden had the top publicist in the country call me and say, I want to represent you. And
What?
all these Jupiter things happened. And my jewelry, this raw gemstones, it was so cool. It was like all healing properties in the stones, and they were in trade magazines and fashion magazines. But then when I really realized how raw food and the way I live, it really just, it helped my health so much that I just felt like I had to stand on a street corner.
Yeah.
Thus the YouTube channel, and thus doing what I love and being able to be a lighthouse to meet people like you and you, Jenna and Jordan.
Wow.
So I'm a big fan of people breaking free from the things that bind that aren't making them happy.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just realized I think the reason that the three of us are doing this podcast together is to show people that they can love their life. You're never stuck.
That's my
Never stuck.
saying. That's how I got out of some things.
Right. We
You're never
deserve
stuck. I
to
was
rise
legally
above.
stuck, but I was like, a friend said to me, he goes, "You're never stuck," and I was like, "Oh, you're right.
Wow.
That's it."
Yeah. I feel it because I can feel the energy of everybody listening. Everyone amazing who's listening. We love you guys so much. And I know that people just need to hear that. We can be stuck and then we can completely rise above it. And it's all part of our path. Just like me getting sick, just like Jenna being in an industry that was no longer serving her. I mean, you were literally stuck where you live, and you moved. And
I made
beautiful.
it happen, and then I felt like life was a miracle because after
It
I visualized California, I called in. Like what I do in the course is I tell you how to call in the planetary energies that are not necessarily with you, but you can imagine them right here. You can. We are in this new paradigm where we can change things just by sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
You know,
How fun is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow. So
And we now have so many tools.
we
Human
do.
design. We have so many tools, so many beautiful people to have as expanders and models, and there's how-tos, and
it's so cool.
So true.
So
I started doing something recently where I was like, hold on a second, instead of assuming every time a challenge comes up, it's going to be hard. What if I live like there was an easiest solution that I can't even imagine because it's that easy?
yes.
What if I imagine that that's the solution, that it's beyond what I can fathom of easiness?
How fun.
And like, why not let it be that instead of assuming it's a hard way? And then actually it starts becoming really easy.
Therein lies the energy of Jenna.
I know. I was going to say, this reminds me of something else that you taught me, something that you said in passing, and it really stuck with me, which was because I was having so many low energy days, and I still do, and saying like, I just have so many low energy days. I have like one day a week where I can actually leave the house. And you said, what about making those days fun? What about making low days fun instead of making low days sad and yucky? And I wish I could be out doing things. And then I started loving it and being like, how lucky am I? I get to
stay
work
home.
from home, be with my cat, who's my best friend, and still create and share with the world because I have this career where I'm able to do that without changing out of my pajamas and use Postmates to get some healthy food and
study the Gerson therapy.
Right. And what have I learned? I've learned so much from staying home.
Wow.
And that was my spirit, like ready to hibernate because I had always been so social and reflector, taking in everybody's energy, negative and positive. And so it was a gift to stay home.
Yeah. That's
you
amazing.
told me that. I mean, over a year ago. And it really stuck with me.
I don't remember that. That's so cool.
I bet. Because it was just like.
Jenna always comes up with like, she sees the solutions.
Yes.
She's like, I call it birding. Like projectors are a bird up in a tree, and she just looks down and she's like, that. I'm like, oh, is that easy? She sees easy solutions.
It's so wise. It's like, as they say in A Course in Miracles, is literally what you just said. I mean, everything can be easy. These things that seem to have such a hard solution, it's not hard.
We
it
may
doesn't
make
have
them
to
harder.
be. We make it hard.
We kind of do.
I mean, are taught to make it hard, but we can teach ourselves to reverse it.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's on us to do that because we need people who make it to the top to say, not validating it by like, oh, it
was
took
so
me
hard.
ages and I struggled and blah, 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 because that's essentially telling other people that they can't do it and it's discouraging and it's
Right.
creating separation.
Right.
I would love if our generation of the people that are like, yeah, it was obviously the internal heavy lifting, the emotional and spiritual, like, you know, transforming myself was a challenge, but like, then life opened the doors and you guys can do it too and anyone can do it, you know, like.
So like the hard work would be like the letting go of what's not working and behavior that's stopping, which is work. Like you have to take a look at yourself and it's not always pretty, but then the actual doing, I would agree, it is easy because you showing up in my life and you showing up in my life, it didn't take work.
no.
My videos and making food and decluttering, it's fun.
But also
I'll let
think
you know
about
when
it
I
like,
get there.
but it's also think about it like we are the ones that like move the mountains. Like you didn't literally pull yourself across the whole of the country to get to California. Like the universe is the one that does the heavy lifting. Right. So like
we just have to with the universe.
Yeah,
I had to be I had to be in the flow. It was not pleasant at times, and I had to know how to manage the energies or my own energy, and archetypes come into play and which part of your natal chart should you lean into, or, you know, working with, okay, it's not really time to be that part of you, Dara. It's time to be this part. And it's going to take some mindfulness. And
that's
some
true expansion to shift in your mind who you are.
Yeah.
We all think that we're this one way.
Yeah. Like maybe you don't want to be all that. Maybe it's time to be this. Like I said, I don't want to fight. I said to my friend Ed, I was like, I don't want to fight with anybody. And he's like, sometimes, Dara, you have to stand up for what you believe in and you need to be a warrior.
Wow.
I love it.
I was like, all right, cool. I'll be Athena and not Aphrodite for a while.
Oh, that's just another thing she does, by the way. She knows all about goddess archetypes and like who embodies what, and she can tell which goddess energy is in you and stuff.
Which goddess energy is in
I would feel, if anyone, just off my spleen, Jenna, is like, I got Artemis, I got Diana, like goddess of the hunt, protectress. And
I've always thought about her. Not that I know a whole lot about Greek goddesses, because I don't, but I've always been really drawn to the arrow. Isn't that her?
Yeah.
Like a bow and arrow?
Yeah. She told her dad, I don't want to wear a long toga like everybody else. And I don't want to be caught by a man. Like she had beautiful experiences with men, but she had a short toga and she rode by the light of the moon, protecting children and animals. And, so she's a good one. I feel that, and I'll look into it more later.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
So another thing I want to know, because I know astrocartography has impacted your life a lot, Jenna.
Hugely.
Tell us how it has.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are some people like my other half who have like more charmed charts, let's say, than mine. Because if you imagine your chart is like a bunch of different lines, and, over a map of the world, basically, and where the lines are or what shows you where you have good stuff and bad stuff. But let's say, for example, if you have a good line right next to a not so good line, then, that's not just an unobstructed tons of luck, right? So it depends about what combinations of lines you have in your chart and where things show up together or separate or whatever it is. So my other half has a very, very charmed chart all round, pretty much. And my chart, I was born on a Pluto line as well. And am I Pluto ascending or descending?
I thought you were IC, but maybe that's Lacey.
You're right.
Is it IC?
No, I think you're right. I think you're IC. And that's basically having to birth yourself or parent yourself.
You had to, along with your Scorpio and Nadir, you had to mother yourself. You are loving, you love your family, but feel somewhat detached and kind of had to raise yourself in the way that you see things.
Yeah.
Which is different, which leaves you feeling loving, yet somehow disconnected.
Exactly. So, yeah. And what else were you
Well, there would be like kind of like explosiveness at home, like jarring to your spirit,
very
from
jarring.
The home front and family, and
and it was nothing bad on the outskirts of it, the description of it, like we know, was a technically happy family, but just very, very spiritually.
But what that made Jenna do is transform herself. So like it's almost like the sand inside, when a pearl is created, like you had enough friction that you had to learn how to cope and learn how to see other people and understand and come up with that tolerance that we know from you because you chose that. So sometimes very, very evolved people are choosing some hard things so that they can be the healer to many, so they can experience what it's like.
Yeah. So I had my Pluto line back in London, and New York, the whole of the East Coast is a little challenging for me. And there's very few places in the planet where I have like totally pure or like good lines with no bad stuff in them.
I was so like, oh no, I have to tell her.
But the places that feel really good to me are places where, because it's obviously relative, right? The places where I feel really good are places where I don't have good lines, but I also don't have bad lines. So it's like unobstructed and clear. So that's why for me, coming to LA is like so amazing, because I just have no influences of any planets at all. And I'm moving to a place where it has the same thing, where I have no good or bad lines. Totally. Yeah. So, and I literally manifested it because I was like, universe, I literally just cannot live in London anymore because it's so heavy and hard for me. And it's kind of like, what's the underworld called? What did you call it?
Hades.
It's like Hades because there's a seduction to it. Like when I'm in the London thing, then I get really, seduced into it. And I almost like kid myself that, I could do this for longer sometimes. And I kind of forget, and you start to think it's normal.
Well, that's why you do so well in the City of Angels here, because it is the light.
Yeah.
And you are the light. So it's like your people. Plus, I just heard that we're on the 33rd parallel, which is a whole nother thing that we could talk about at some other time. It's like a place from which all the future changes are born. And
are we in that right now?
We are on the line right now.
This is the 33rd latitude.
30
this house? Wow.
And Mecca is on that line too.
Really?
Yeah. But I don't know enough to talk about it intelligently. Right. I will get back to you.
I mean, regardless, I'm into
Or we could call Heath.
Yeah.
We'll have somebody meet you and talk about it.
I mean, when I walked into this place, I felt like I need to come over to write my next book. I need to do a lot of things here.
You're invited. You are so invited.
Thank you.
You're so
invited.
It's
so heaven here. It really is. Yeah.
So you've been super influenced by astrocartography, and now you're moving to Monaco, which is, we can just talk about what a dream that is.
I know.
That is, for anyone who hasn't been there, I mean, on the water, the place itself is, people live there. Like,
I know.
What?
It feels like fairy tale and prince and princess. And Jenna, for those of you who haven't seen Jenna walk, she like glides so elegantly. And so she fits there, right?
It's so amazing.
It really is. And it was so lucky that I didn't choose Monaco. After 5 days after I asked the universe, like, please help me get out of London. I don't know where else I want to go. My boyfriend sat me down and was like, because he's an art dealer, and he was like, the laws of art have changed in the sense that you have to pay 30% tax on all of your assets. So stuff that you're not even selling, stuff he's collected for like 10 years.
Imagine
and
that.
to have to pay 30% of that in cash every year, he was like, I can't do that. My business is going to tank. Like, it's just not livable.
Like, bummer. I guess we have to leave London.
And he was like, we can either go here or here. And I think Monaco, these are our two choices. And I think Monaco is easier for both of us, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, cool.
That's amazing.
I know.
What a cool life. You're going to go live in Monaco.
I know. It's really fun.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I did like a lot of help as well, which has to be credited to doing Lacey's work, because that got me so prepared for being able to manifest and not stand in my own way. You know what I mean? Like doing all the unblocks and stuff. It was like
Lacey's work.
So helpful.
Yeah,
let's give a shout out to Lacey.
Yeah, Lacey Phillips. She's been on this podcast twice. Most recently was really recent. So if people are interested in listening, you just have to go back maybe like a month's worth of episodes. Lacey is the manifestation queen. She's totally living her design. She must be, she did.
We've done it.
Right?
We did
and
the
that's
astrogeography.
Why she's so attracted to Scotland.
Yeah.
She learned why she's so attracted to Scotland.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she's very intuitive. Like she, everywhere where she could be queen in Scotland. She's got a great lines there.
Really cool. Mm-hmm. So when we did my map, which I'm excited to,
it's on the kitchen table. Do you need me to get it?
Yeah, tell me.
Do you want me to go get it?
Yeah, go get it.
So in the meantime, do you want to hear a story about my sister's astrogeography?
I do.
Okay, this is a really cool story. So Last time I was here with Dara, last time I was in LA, we're sitting having lunch and I was like, I don't know why it came out of my mouth. I was just like, I don't know what to do about my sister. My sister's like a year and a half apart from me, manifestor, amazing, my favorite person on the planet. But I was like, I just don't know what to do about her. And Dara looked up her map and was like, New York for her. She has the sun crossing Jupiter, which is like instant, like huge fame, success, blah, blah, blah. At the time, she was like just doing theater, married. The next day she calls me and she's like, I'm separating from my husband. Okay. And I was like, okay. I mean, I'd seen it coming, but didn't really think she was going to do anything about it. And then a week later, she got an audition to be on the new ABC TV show shooting in New York. And she got the lead role. Yeah.
What
like
TV
a week
show?
after. It's a show called NYPD Blue. It was like big in the 90s or something.
I know that show.
And they're rebooting it and she's the lead. And it was literally after I was saying to Dara, like, I don't know what to do with my sister. And then her even just saying it to me, I feel like activated
New
something
York,
on this.
It did.
Like she said, New York, and now she's living there, like
Is
shooting.
the show on?
They're like shooting it right now.
My dad is going to watch that. Like,
really?
He loves those
oh my
kinds
God,
of
how
shows.
fun.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh my God.
And she was like, she can't stay in London. Dara was like, she can't stay in London. It's like people feeding off her, parasitic relationships. Like
That was a
literally
moon
called
line.
it like exactly the
Wow.
same. And then
How cool.
it's
This stuff
freaky. Yeah.
Doesn't lie.
It's kind of
No.
freaky.
It's amazing.
You were born. Oh, no, this is Jonathan.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
hold
Hey,
on.
Jonathan.
I got some notes on you, but I have your map here. So what do you
Uh-huh.
want to know, honey?
Anything that you think would be interesting to the listeners.
Well, you came in charmed and lucky and
Lucky.
and sharing. I mean, you were born on a Jupiter descending line, which is like it's like the line, it's Jupiter like mine, but Jupiter and mine, Jupiter ascending, is expressing itself through me. And so people see me as optimistic and faithful and joyful. And with your line, it's Jupiter descending and it's Jupiter expressing itself through others, how others are to you. So this is the line where other people want to assist you. They want to give you money. They want to help you. They want to, it's almost like, I think of it as like skipping down a glitter paved sidewalk.
Oh my
People
gosh.
say, can I carry you? Can I carry that furniture for you? What do you need, Jordan?
My family will laugh so hard because they say that is my life.
Yeah.
First with my family and now with Jonathan.
Yeah.
And all of my best friends.
As it
who
should
are
be.
all projectors.
Wow.
Everyone takes care of me.
Yeah.
I feel that I take care of them spiritually and they take care of me physically.
Yeah, I'm getting chills because I saw that the first time I look at your map. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone born on that line.
Wow.
It's a line that I tell people to go to.
How
I'm like, go
awesome.
try it. You will feel like just so taken care of and assisted. It's
I do.
so that whatever line you're born on stays with you your whole life.
Well,
The energies of that stay.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. And we
Sacramento coming through.
yes, so you are
That is where I
charmed
was born.
and beautiful. You have Chiron on the descendant here, which tells me of healing. You find your healing through others. You'll be learning how to be the guru. It's where you find healing karmic relationships, healing old patterns with your family, maybe how you're not going to be how your ancestors were or past lives or family of origin. You'll create a new way and you'll share that with the family because you love your family. And it feels fated. It feels fated and karmic, like soul choices there. And you are also have, I see the moon rising. I want to make sure. Yeah, I think the moon, but I don't think it's in Los Angeles. If you were in San Francisco, Mount Shasta, you'd be on a moon line. And I feel like it's good you're not. It kind of can make you too sensitive. It's a beautiful line for being a mother. So it's a good place to get pregnant when you're ready.
Oh, I'll be ready.
Yeah.
The moment that I'm healthy, I can't wait to be a mom.
So you have a beautifully charmed chart. You get to take that energy wherever you go, but you couldn't have landed in a better place. Although you have Jupiter rising, the line that I have here, Norway, Sweden, Germany, Austria.
That's so fun. I would love to travel there.
Israel, Istanbul. You could have some fun there. You have Jupiter on the midheaven, some really good things going on in Australia. And we can talk about whatever. So what I do for people is we did our thing already, but if in the future you need me and you're like, Dara, I need a little more of this. Like, I want to write. I'll be like, let's look for Mercury.
Okay, let's talk about creativity. Where should I go?
On the spot. It's the whole world.
I know. Yes.
It's the whole world and its maps. But I would tell you, for creativity, for you, I would look to Mercury on the midheaven. Oh, you have Venus midheaven. Venus, Mercury, and Sun in... That's so funny. Polynesia and Hawaii.
Polynesia?
You have,
Hawaii. You love Hawaii.
Yeah, I do love Hawaii.
Yeah, you have Hawaii. You have some fun things. Uranus on the descendant. I feel like tapping into the spirituality. Neptune on the descendant would be nice there. And you have some interesting lines depending on if you were in Kauai, or we'd have to talk about which part of Hawaii.
I've always thought I would either write my next book in Kauai or Maui.
I feel that.
Wow.
Because that's all midheaven lines. That has to do with your career.
Okay.
So it's how you communicate to society. It's how you're seen. You have the ultimate fame and reputation. So in feng shui, fame and reputation is the area of your home that corresponds to the area of your life that is not necessarily just being famous, although it could be. It's how the world sees you. And you have that particular fame line, which does speak of fame in astrogeography, right next to Venus on the midheaven, which is all about beauty and beauty with society and having something, presenting your work beautifully. And Mercury on the midheaven, all three planets are expressed in the midheaven, which is them expressing themselves in career and society. So your communication, your artistry, you're sharing beauty to the world and being recognized for it.
Cool.
Are there. And in Alaska.
In Alaska. I spent a lot of time in Alaska, believe it or not.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What?
People would find that surprising. My dad every summer would go on these fly fishing trips, and we would go with him and spend like 2 weeks in Alaska every summer for many years. In fact, not to deter anyone from Alaska, but my mom and I think that's probably where I got bitten by a tick for Lyme. Because I would
part of Alaska?
Waist deep in swamps, like all the time. We would go to this place called King Salmon, which is multiple planes from Anchorage.
Is it near Bethel or Anchorage? Do you have any idea, or do you know?
It's like probably an hour from Anchorage.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What about, you were saying something about doing something in Canada. Do you want to look up where that line is?
Depends which
Western
part.
Canada, like British Columbia, Vancouver, and Pemberton.
Saturn is there, which would help you to be disciplined when you write your book. When you learn, it's a great place to study.
Good, because I have notes
from others, because it's Saturn on the descendant. So it's discipline from others. You would have a teacher there, which you are talking about. You're very in tune.
Yeah.
Very in tune.
So good, no?
I love it. Wow. All right, before we get into this episode, let's talk about our incredible sponsor, Cured Nutrition. So I am currently completely obsessed with Cured Nutrition CBD. I met their founder, Joseph, at an event several months ago. We really hit it off. Me and Jonathan chatted with him for a while. We learned all about Cured Nutrition, everything that Joseph and his brand are up to in Colorado. We learned about their mission and things that they're working to do as a brand right now. And I just fell in love. You know that I only work with brands that I love from the inside out. So when it comes to the people behind the brand, when it comes to the product, how they source their ingredients, etc., I'm very, very picky. And CBD is everywhere right now. So you're probably wondering what makes Cured Nutrition different. And before I tell you, I just want to let you know you can use the code BLONDE as always for a great discount when you shop their website, curednutrition.com. Definitely check out their mint tincture of CBD. It helps with sleep. It helps with pain. It helps with inflammation, helps to calm anxiety, helps to manage if you have a lot of pain in your body, like I do. So, what makes Cured Nutrition different is that they are very high quality. Every batch of their product is third-party tested and subject to a multi-stage inspection to ensure they bring only the highest of quality products to the market. All of their products are sourced from organically grown hemp and tested for potency, purity, pesticides, and heavy metals, which is so important for a variety of reasons. They're a very transparent brand, so they oversee the entire process of their products from seed to sale. They spend so much time researching and testing everything before they put any product on the market. So some of their products that I love, obviously the mint tincture, I talk about it all the time. I take it every time I need a little easing of my anxiety, and it also helps me sleep. I also love their pain balm. It's like a shea butter, kind of almost like a deodorant stick that you would rub on your body, except for pain. And it's so amazing. I use it on my hands all the time since I have felt a lot of pain in my hands from having Lyme disease being buried in my joints. Also, they are big on community and vision. They're a collective of heart-centered people. They are drivers of positive change, and they're just all about promoting a healthy regulation of the central nervous system. That's what CBD is for. So check out curednutrition.com. Use that code BLONDE. Know that they ship nationwide. They oversee everything. They're pure and potent. They even have food. They have tinctures. They have treats. They have everything you could ever want. So enjoy. Use that code BLONDE. Let me know what you get. Tag me on Instagram and have fun. How lucky am I to have my chart read by you like twice? So everybody who's listening who wants to have their chart read by you, how would they do that?
They would go to my website, daradubinet.com. And when I do intuitive sessions, I always take a peek. So I'm always going to tell you what line you're living on. And to book an astrogeography session, you can do that too. Either way, I'm using my intuition, but the astrogeography is for learning, 3 places and having me look to see where, depending on what you want. And that's the astrogeography sessions, and the intuitive sessions are for like anything, food. I love to do them FaceTime because I'm in my own energy. So I get my own intuition, and then I'm able to have visions. When I see you, I can see the energy rise or go down. Sometimes I get flashes of what things should look like for your highest, for life purpose and career. That seems to be
your thing.
It's
the thing
my
you help people find.
Clearly.
Yeah.
It's my jam. I don't know
It
why.
really
I think you
is.
found it in my human design.
Yeah.
I'm a projector with splenic authority, with something that helps me see people's higher purpose.
Cool.
It's amazing. And actually, I think the intuitive sessions are almost like more sort of bang for your buck than the astrogeography, because you can ask literally whatever you want in any session.
So
You'd be
too.
like,
I think so too.
Throw anything at her and you'll get an answer back.
Because I take a light, you're right, because I take a light peek at the astrogeography, so we cover that. I saw a woman, like an angel over your head, like a white light.
Really?
It was like startling while I was talking, so I couldn't stop. But there's
gosh.
something going on. There's some energy. You just totally raise your vibration by the water fasting and Monica and
I feel that.
yeah,
I
it's
feel
something has.
my angel. Do you feel like she's like my grandmother, or more of like an angel who I haven't met?
I don't know at the moment. I just feel like it was young. It was like somebody. It was like a young. It could be you. It could be like your higher self.
Right.
It could just be like the vibration is just expanding around you. But it did feel like somebody. It felt like a beautiful presence, like light.
That's really powerful.
Yeah. I'll gaze when there's not so much going on.
Definitely.
I've got headphones.
Well, you mentioned Monica. I think we should talk about that.
Speaking of angels.
Yeah, speaking of angels, all 3 of us, thanks to you, see the most amazing colon hydrotherapist here in Venice. Yeah. And let's just talk for a little bit about colonics. What do you guys like about them? I think a lot of people listening have a lot of questions.
It's so easy. It's easy because they do the work. You just lie there.
I think it's relaxing.
It kind of is relaxing. I got into it because I heard this guy, Gil Jacobs, who's a colonic therapist in New York.
Oh, isn't he the gravity method?
Yeah. And I heard him talk. I had him do a talk, like, I think probably 10 years when I was like struggling with bad skin, like, so probably 12, maybe 15 years ago. And I heard someone like direct me to one of his resources where he basically said that it's obviously not only what you are taking in, but it's also what you're getting rid of. And so it made so much sense to me because obviously none of us have eaten perfectly in our lives, but also because we hold on to so many things, physical and emotional and spiritual, that we need help with letting go of. As in, like Dara always says, it's about being clean, clear, and bright. I always think of it like if you're an unobstructed vessel or vehicle, you can receive so much in your life. So actually the goal is not about, I don't even think of food as like, is it going to give me these nutrients or is it going to give me this vitamin? I'm thinking, is it going to leave me feeling, is it going to literally leave my body feel like better off than when it came in? So for me, colonics are just like the step 2 of that process where it's like, is it going to leave me feeling better? Is it going to leave me clear so I can receive all the stuff that I'm meant to receive?
Beautiful.
So it's kind of necessary when you think about it that way.
And then if you think about it from just a vanity standpoint and sexiness, like nobody feels sexy if their colon is clogged.
Yes, and if you're bloated.
That's like not sexy. And then, so that's like one thing. And then it like traces back to like tribal days, like the most beautiful person was the cleanest, the whitest eyes and the clearest skin because they'd be most likely to reproduce better. So there's a lot of reasons that cleaning your colon leads to sexiness, just lightness. But then it's also like, it's a beauty thing. Like I don't know this for sure, but I imagine before people go on the red carpet, they're getting colonics.
I would.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why?
But that's not why I did it. And after you asked that question, I need to tell you how I found it because I've never told it and it's funny.
Do you think that's why the whites of our eyes are so bright? Because I've never had people bring that up to me as much as I have in the last month. People have said to me, what can I buy to make my eyes as white as yours? And I'm like,
clean the colon.
Spirituality? I don't know. It's living a high vibe lifestyle. It's my plant medicine experience. It's the way that I eat. Colonics.
For sure.
Yeah. How I found it was not through research. How most things show up in my life, they just do. So my mom, I'm living in Florida and she visited me from New Jersey. And she comes in with a bag of psyllium and she said, Valerie, my friend Valerie says we should eat psyllium with cranberry juice every day by the spoonful. Okay, Mom. And we started eating cranberries with psyllium husk as like dessert, just eating it. Don't know what I was doing. All of a sudden, when I went to the bathroom, like squiggles came out. And I was like, Mom, like I called her, come look. And I was like freaking out, like what just came out of me. So I Googled and I was about 38 at the time, 37. And I was like, I started seeing things about parasites and I started seeing things about worms and I was horrified and I freaked. And I'm like, what do you do to get colon hydrotherapy? Oh, okay. Called the lady in the morning, freaking out. And she goes, calm down, honey. I'm sure it's just mucus. Like she kind of probably had that phone call before, but I called this colon hydrotherapist. It was a little hole in the wall place. I went to see her. She started talking to me about food. I couldn't believe that no one ever talked to me about food that gets clogged in your colon and what kind of fiber. Well, I thought all colon hydrotherapists were angels because this lady was an angel. She was educating me.
Wow.
And then I was like paying attention to food and organic and fiber. And then when I got to my Jupiter line, I found raw food like 5 or 6 months after. And then I became 100% raw for 10 years. And
wow,
yeah.
Jupiter.
Yeah. So I found it by being horrified that maybe I had worms.
And did you?
No.
It was something else.
It was like, I think mucus, like if you're eating cheese or you're eating anything that your body doesn't want, the body forms mucus around it. And so when when it really starts to leave the lining of your colon, it can come out like a squiggly or something.
I get it.
Yeah. It was just alarming.
Someone who has had many parasites come out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I get the horror.
You're just horrified. You'll go anywhere. You'll have anything, put up your butt. Like if most people realize that they're walking around with parasites and this could help get rid of them.
Yes. Love colonics.
Monica.
So
Monica,
amazing.
yeah, Monica was in Venice. I met her in 2006, and she's the angel.
Yeah,
She's
she's
the angel.
a special person.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I go there, I feel like the things that we talk about are meant to be discussed, and I leave. It's a therapy session.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's very efficient. She loves both of you.
She's unbelievable. I've been to many colonic
Mhm.
hydrotherapists and
Yes.
she's special.
She
She's
really
like the poop
is.
whisperer.
The poop whisperer. I feel like if someone's looking for a colon hydrotherapist, just like get a recommendation or meet them and see if you like their countenance. Are they soft? Are they, you know,
Yes.
harsh?
I agree.
You don't want harsh.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, a question for both of you. What would be your tips for everybody listening to live a high vibe life? The kind of life that you've both created, where you love waking up every day and have just created this beautiful lifestyle.
What would be
your tips?
How to do it?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is listening. Like, pay attention to your own energy. Like, pay attention. Like, we are what we eat, who we hang out with, our relationships, our jobs. If there's one thing that's making you feel down, I know that it can seep into other areas. Just like if you have one part of your home that's like massively cluttered and you think if you shut the door, it goes away. It doesn't, or one part of your body isn't working well, or one relationship. It's got to be clean, clear, and bright across the board. And the best way I know how to do that, obviously, after 8 years of talking about it on YouTube, how to eat and declutter your home, pay attention to the relationships you have with people, places, and things. How are the things making you feel? How are the people? Be willing to let go, to welcome in. That's how.
Love it.
Yeah. I think mine would just be, because I think everybody's trying to grow. And I do believe everyone on this planet does want to become a better version of themselves. And I think the main thing that actually keeps us from growing is the judgment over not being there yet, or not being spiritual enough, or not being good enough to be worthy of being a good person, and questioning that, what if I'm a bad person, or if I'm evil, or if I'm undeserving. We all have those things underneath. So I think if you're on a path of growth, you can't do it without being kind to yourself and forgive yourself all the time, and be so patient with yourself and hold your own hand like you would like a precious little child. And I also think that that's actually ironically the fastest way to grow, because then you shed all the self-limiting things where you're saying, I'm not growing fast enough, or I'm not where this person is, or my journey should look like this, or I need to be doing this kind of job, or whatever it is. And one of the most humbling things I've learned is that the most spiritual people I know are people who often don't want to even know about a crystal, or don't even care about going to yoga, or drinking a green juice, or knowing about human design. My boyfriend could not care less about human design, only because I do it. And he's interested in like me, obviously, being happy in my life. But he's taught me so much about acceptance and patience and being calm, like things that I'm not good at and things that I've become better at. Being accepting of myself and accepting of what our relationship should look like and things like that. So I think number one is just the self holding your hand along every single part, like every single bit of the way. And the second one, which has helped me so much, is like giving up the idea of it has to look how I decide it looks, right? Because so much more came to me when I was like, okay, whatever. What if I give up this idea that I have to be a businesswoman in the way that I think? Or what would happen if I gave up the idea that things have to happen in 6 months' time, or that I have to do this, or it has to be this way, like this person?
That really resonates.
Instead of a grabbing hand, like just an open palm,
Yeah. Practicing non-attachment, which is hard.
So hard. So hard. I don't say either of those things like I have them down. I really don't.
No, wow, that is some good info.
What's yours?
Oh, man. I'm sure the last time I was asked this question, my answer would be so different.
Yeah.
I think tips for living a life, which I would call a soul on fire life, this is the Soul on Fire podcast, is just know who you are, get in tune with who you are. And like you said, it doesn't have to be learning your whole human design chart and learning, your astrology or your astrocartography, because those things, they all come with time. And if you're interested in them, they're there. It's so much simpler than that. What do you like to do? What are you passionate about? And developing the confidence to pursue what that is. Because I don't think anybody should spend their precious time on this earth doing something that they don't love.
Yeah.
So if you wake up every day and you don't love what you do, but you think about what you love and you wait until the weekend to experience it or vacation, then you're not living your best life.
Yeah.
And I know it's not easy for everybody to drop what they're doing and explore something else, but it's possible. And because it's possible, it's attainable. Everybody can do that. So everybody listening, they can create that life for themselves. And maybe it will take some time. Maybe detach from the idea, oh, that sounds great. That should happen for me in 6 weeks. It might take a lot of time, but life is the constant practice of doing what you love and reevaluating, what do I love now? And for me, that has changed so much. And people will say, wow, you've been blogging for 6 years. Like, I've never done anything for 6 years. That's what some people will say to me. And I think about how much it's changed what I've done. And it's just because my blog and my podcast, they shift with me. So that's the only reason why I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could go on.
Yeah, that's a good topic. It's a really timely topic. Because so many people are doing things and they know they want to make a switch. And I could hear them all saying, how? But how?
Yeah.
Right.
But how? And so...
it makes me sad because I think people don't really think that they can do it. I'm not talking about everybody. I think some people might feel, well, they can do that. It's easy for them to talk about that. But my circumstances are this, and this.
Yeah.
Right. And
I've been there. I've totally been there. I've totally put myself in the category of like, oh, there's some people who can and some people who can't. And I've definitely thought to myself many times, you know, before I was doing this, oh, I just couldn't be that lucky. I just couldn't be that lucky. I just couldn't be that lucky. And I think I was stopping myself by, I think what too many of us do is, let's say, for example, I'll use my friend Cleo, who's a poet. She's a really successful poet.
We know
Cleo
her.
Wade.
Yeah, she's amazing.
So if she had thought like, oh, I just want to be a poet, and then allowed her mind to get in the way of saying, okay, well, that means I'm going to be broke, living on the east, you know, like living in God knows where, some shoebox in Manhattan, not having a good quality life because poets only make this much. And this is the typical career trajectory for poets. And that's what that looks like. She wouldn't have done it. But I think because nowadays, you know, the world opens up so many doors for us and there is no time, space, and motion anymore. It's like, instead of trying to script how that's going to look, you don't even know how a better version of that is. You just have to stop yourself from entertaining the worst version of things possible, or the like obvious, plain, easy thing that we think is like the only career path available to us in any one passion. And what if you just stop believing that every time that comes into your mind? That is enough of a powerful shift to open up something that's even bigger than what you thought you could do.
So powerful.
No, so it's like, okay, but so if you want to be an artist, don't just think, oh, that means I'm going to have to starve on the street to be an artist. Like, it doesn't mean anything. If you want to be like a computer programmer, who's to say that doesn't mean you're going to like end up inventing like a video game that sells for $800 million? Like, we just don't know.
Right. We can do anything with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I was talking about that in a solo episode that just came out. It will have been last week when this comes out, all about manifesting this career that I have now. And I said in that episode, the reason why I was able to do that was because I had no fear, because I didn't really know what failure would look like, because I knew I can't fail doing this because I'll be doing what I love. So I can't fail, because even if I don't make any money,
that's the key.
Even if I have a bunch of side jobs, that's not a failure to me. Like, I'll be doing what I love. And so I had no fear. And even when I wasn't making any money at all, I didn't care. I wasn't concerned. I believed it would come, and it did. And now like 6 years later, I've developed more fears because life is different now, and taking a risk once I've built something that I love feels riskier. And I recognize that I have blocks now that I didn't have previously.
Wow. Yeah. So interesting. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
When you told me to first start doing human design, I didn't also pressure myself to just give up what I was doing. I kind of like lent into it. And I think when you can sometimes play with the universe and say, okay, I'm going to try and do this for like an hour a week. And if it's meant for me, show me the flow, come through for me.
Right.
Like, let's see, put your money where your mouth is, universe. Like, we don't have to know the answers either ourselves. We can just like lean into it just a little and see if the flow. Yeah.
Like when you do the things, whatever it is that you love to do, like if you allow yourself to be grabbed by something that just turns your head or makes you turn in that direction or sparkles you, then that moment of sparkle might attract somebody that you needed to know. Like it's almost moment to moment. It's almost turn by turn, street by street. Like it's just the follow your heart thing is so vague, but it's like follow the heat or the passion or the thing that makes your heart lift or whatever it is for you. But you know when you're jazzed by something.
Yeah.
Let yourself do it. And then it'll feed something else that you couldn't see down the line. So I really think allowing yourself to be grabbed by something new and sparkly or an old dream that resurfaces. Like
Yes, I think old dreams can resurface at the perfect time. I believe that so much.
Think about it. Like I started doing my YouTube channel just because I followed my heart. Like I needed to do it. I needed to share about cleaning your colon and eating healthy. And then every single beautiful person I've met is because I was doing this thing that made me happy.
Right?
That's it. That's why you guys are sitting here.
Yeah. Whole life unfolds in front of you.
Yeah.
So you have to do those things.
That's so true.
It's
and I
so
think
true.
it does come back to knowing yourself too, because knowing that I'm a reflector, even though I did just say people don't have to learn their human design.
It's a good idea.
They don't want to. If you have access to what time you were born, it's good to know your human design. I've had to play with that so much because I can get so excited that I can feel like my thought of the moment is my next big everything. And I'll be so excited about it, bouncing off the walls, telling the world. That's what I do. And then the next day, no interest, not for me. And that's such a reflector thing.
Yeah.
So,
and yet, what's so funny about it is
So
even if
interesting.
you don't do this thing that we were discussing, you sparked it for someone.
Totally.
It's been sparked. Someone, if it's not you, someone's going to do it. So you get excited and then share the excitement.
Yes, and I've
It's
had
pretty
to just
amazing.
release like any negative feelings I have about me being that way because it is fun to live that way. And if you look at it as that's fun, then that's okay.
Yeah.
That's who I am. I can change my mind.
You're entitled.
I have really changed my mind.
Supposed to.
I can be like, booking plane tickets for this huge retreat, like in it, getting all my friends to go. And then it can be the day before. And I'm not going. I don't want to go. My body doesn't want to go.
That's so funny.
That's who I am.
Yeah.
So, but I will say for this that we just talked about, I thought about it for the 28-day moon cycle. And I've learned, because I don't like that feeling of saying that I'm going to do something and then not doing it. That's one thing that I have tried to get away from. That's what learning about being a reflector has taught me to do. Like I can still be excited about it. I can still tell Jonathan about it and my parents, but I don't really have to
announce
share
to
it
the
on
world.
the podcast and tell everybody. I can wait because I've had a lot of things that I thought I was going to do.
Wow.
But we don't know what happened because of you saying those things.
Yeah.
Somebody else might be doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it all. I love it all. It's all so fun. And even if it's like, I had moments of wanting to be a human design chart reader because I love what you do. And learning about being a reflector, it's changed my life. And then I realized I don't have to do that just because I love it, but it's fun. It's fun that I thought about doing it because
totally,
that's how much I love it.
Yeah.
I bought books and I've been studying and
so cool.
Nothing bad comes
and it will
from
serve
that.
you forever in a day.
And also you're like a you're essentially here for people to live vicariously through your adventures in wellness. And so the things that you bring up are never a loss because you're introducing them to so many people's existence, you know?
Yeah. And I had that light bulb moment of realizing that's what my brand is.
Right.
And I don't
Excitement
have to be
and sharing.
Jordan, the yoga teacher, or whatever
Right.
I felt like I had to be credible,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
No, I can just be a friend to these listeners. That's what I am.
And the person who gets excited about what other people are, you're like amplifying the excitement of what they do.
Yeah.
I see that now. I was like, how can a reflector, but seeing you in person, I can now understand what Jenna's been saying. I can see it.
It's so
You're
cool.
a great example.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really, truly.
Great example.
Yeah.
Well, I feel lucky that I was born into a family and a life where being a reflector has been so easy.
Wow.
I cannot believe that they're 1% of the population, everybody. And Jordan and your father. That's crazy.
That is some karmic twist of fate. Because we were supposed to be here together, me and him. He's been my dad in so many lifetimes.
Wow.
I've seen it. I've done past life regressions. He's always there.
Amazing.
I'm like, there you are.
Wow.
And we butt heads so much.
Wow.
We're so similar.
It's amazing.
I was speechless when you said it earlier. Really, truly.
It's crazy pants. It really is.
So great.
Yeah. But I think, on the whole, if you're clear about half the battle or most of the battle is actually getting clear on what it is that does, like what you can do in your sleep that's effortless that you also enjoy. Yes. Because, from a human design perspective, you came on this planet already inherently good at certain things. And those are the things that we need you to do because someone else is good at other things. And that's what they're here to do. So it's like you chose to be good at certain things before you came here.
Right.
And so actually to think about, like, if you totally non-judgmentally made a list or had friends of yours tell you a list of the things that you can, like, you almost assume everyone else is good at them because you're so good at them and you don't even think that they're like a good quality. You don't even give them any credit or any airtime. Like, what are those things? Because if you get a list down of those things, I swear that's half the battle, because then the universe will color that in with whatever job description on the outside world is going to be, the use for all those qualities. But essentially it's, are you using those qualities that come so easy to you? The mask or the vessel of the job description, that comes second,
So true.
So if you're a good listener, like start recognizing that in yourself. Or if you're a good writer, or if you love to, I don't know, find a system for things or solve people's problems, or I don't know, anything.
You can ask yourself the question, what was I really good at that no one taught me how to do when I was little?
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh my God.
And you can ask your parents if they're alive. You can ask your brother or sister, what was the thing that I did?
That
and then there's
powerful.
also something in your natal chart. And so if someone calls me for a life purpose session, to kind of see like where to head, there's a couple of things to look for in the natal chart that give you clues to that. So you do human design, the midheaven, and the true node. Those give me clues.
Right. I
have yours here.
Node. Tell me. I think I'm Aquarius, right? True node.
Well, Jonathan is Gemini midheaven.
Ooh.
He's the same as me, and he has a Sagittarius nadir, which tells who he is at home of homes, and he is a very optimistic man.
Yes.
And that's fault. Like unshakable faith that everything will work out.
Oh, yeah. And the kind of guy who proposes to you a week after you're diagnosed with chronic lifetime Lyme disease.
Yeah.
Like, you would do that? Wow.
Yeah. That's love. That's he knows everything's going to work out because it is. You're already healed. I see it. So he's got Gemini midheaven, which means that he is here to communicate and probably have more than one career.
Definitely. I see it.
Let's see, Jordan. So she has the true node in Aquarius. I'm going to put my glasses on.
That makes sense.
So Jenna, when we go towards our true node, it's where our spirit wants us to head in this lifetime. It's a bit of a stretch because we weren't that in the number of past lifetimes. Your spirit wants you to reach towards Aquarius. And every time you do behave like an Aquarian, your spirit's going to be happy. So no matter what you do, whether it's doing laundry or communicating with your love or doing work, and this is all about you are doing it because it's about cutting edge ideas and introducing somewhat strange but needed people to society. Yes. Jenna's very cutting edge, and she does human design, which is cutting edge, and things like sustainable living and team spirit. Interested in caring for society. But anyway, you also have your midheaven in Scorpio. So you're totally in tune because midheaven is who you are on the world stage. If everybody's watching, you are behaving like a Scorpio, which is somebody who's able to reach down into the depths to things that are unseen and bring them up.
Wow.
To uncover hidden truths.
Wow.
How cool is that?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Oh, I love that.
So if everybody knows what their midheaven is, they can see who they are on the world stage. Like,
right.
Part of it, like this. And usually every time I speak to someone about it, they're like, yeah, that feels right.
That
feels
does
good.
feel
that feels
right.
There's more to it, which we could go into at another time, but these things are so, and in your home of homes, in your home, when you're at home, Jonathan would know you to be a Taurus, someone who likes luxury and feeling good and sensual things and
homey,
secure.
right? Homey.
Homey.
Yeah.
Like this. Like,
yeah, homey, luxury.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Feeling comfortable.
Oh, I didn't know I had any Taurus in my chart.
So where he has Sagittarius in his home, like at home, in home, who you know him to be, it's that unshakable faith and optimism. That's what in the same placement you have Taurus. So you're solid, you're solid at home and reliable and trustworthy, loyal, like.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel that definitely.
So it's good for you to be home. It's good for you to make your home. Remember we were talking about that, to make your home even feel more homey.
Right.
It will feel nice to your spirit.
I've decided this since I've been here in your apartment. I've decided that I want to turn my office room into a room like this, like into my little haven.
Like a lounge.
Yeah. Like a lounge where I can record the podcast.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's my room. It's my room from my office, but since I'm not a decorator and I get super lazy about those kinds of things. I never did anything with it, but we have this beautiful Moroccan style rug in there already, and a desk, which I've never sat at in my life, and I probably never will. So we could probably move it. I want to get these cool plush pillows and stuff.
I will help you.
I would love your help.
I will help you.
And the candles. I'm seeing it now, and I'm so happy because I've
to make it cozy, comfy, Taurian style, like with things growing around you and feeling like the fabrics and the textures and the comfiness.
I would love your help.
I'm happy to.
Yay. So let's leave everybody with a final word from both of you. It can be about anything. I feel like both of you are so intuitive. What do you feel like people need to hear that they might not have ever heard from you before?
Hit it, Jay.
Ooh, that's a good question. I think there's something really interesting in life coaching. My aunt is a life coach. She told me something really interesting recently, which has kind of been weighing on my mind. And it was the fact that before, like in the 90s when life coaching was like first coming up, it was all about like fixing your flaws and like, how do we correct this thing that, we've seen as, your weak link and blah, blah, blah. And now the whole life coaching world had this whole kind of like reinvention. Because now what they've discovered is that we get results better from people when actually we're not really focusing on the flaws. We're actually looking at the things that you're really strong at and trying to emphasize those and put the energy into like emphasizing that stuff. And from a human design perspective, when I look at a chart and I'm seeing any given line or gate or, energy center that's lit up or any of the numbers, that's just potential. And it's up to us how we can express it in a high vibration way or a low vibration way. So I can't inherently tell a person who is a good person or a bad person or people that are living their design or not. I can only tell when we animate the chart, right? We're the ones that use that energy. So I kind of feel like it's the path of least resistance to even if you're not clear who you are or what your life purpose is or what you should be doing with your life or whatever, it's just about where we put our attention to and how we recognize ourselves. And so can we recognize the things, even not yet, just don't even get to the point where you can praise yourself or appreciate yourself or have the self-worth, because I know what it's like to be far away from that. But can you even from like a dry scientific perspective go, okay, I do this really easily, or I do this, more quickly than somebody else does, and how that experimentation process can start to build up to self-worth. Because I think expecting self-worth from like 0 to 100 is impossible. And I know that I've like self-flagellated energetically when I felt like I was not getting there fast enough. And then it actually just keeps you stuck even longer. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like actually the best way to do it is just, instead of do the 0 to 100, just do the 0.1. Just what is the thing that you think you do differently or slightly faster than most people, or that comes so easy to you, things that seem obvious to you that might not be obvious to other people. And then just start recognizing that self. Like that's how you get to know yourself again. And I think it's like such a magical, easy thing that we can all do for free that results in like the coolest stuff.
Wow. That's so beautiful. That's going to hit home with a lot of people.
I only know this because I was stuck there for so long, and I'm telling my 22-year-old self that.
I love it. I needed that.
Yeah, I've been stuck. I mean, do you imagine how many different things I've done? I love to learn new things like you do, and then I try them and I jump into them. And how many times I would sit at my mother's table with my head on the table going, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's so many times.
Yeah.
That's why when Monica, not to interrupt you, when Monica told me that you were a raw food chef for so many years before doing the astrocartography, and you've lived all these lives.
A lot.
And that's exactly what she said. She said she has lived a lot of lives since I've known her. And I instantly was like, I get it. I do.
I think the major theme for me is like when something became so heavy or the thought of giving it up felt so exciting, I'd have to go. I'd just have to go. And I'd have to disappoint people. Maybe people were buying my products because I had a wholesale company or they really wanted it. But when I thought of the freedom of not doing the thing, it's almost like that thing, doing something day in and day out that's not making you happy is toxic. It's like if you think of a hummingbird, they're there, but if the air changes and it's not pleasant, they're gone faster than you can see. And it's like that energy, and it's beautiful. They go towards the flowers. So I think that comes from my faith that everything's going to work out. And that's what I share. That's what I've been sharing, I think.
Is that because
all
of your
these
Gemini
years.
midheaven?
It's the Sagittarius nadir that he has. And my Gemini midheaven makes me absolutely passionate about sharing things with people. Absolutely. One time I didn't know what to do, and I was sitting on the floor, much like we are now, when I was living in New York City, and one of the things that I had started doing ended, and I was sitting on the floor with newspapers, because back in the day, you actually had to look in the newspaper for a job, which was just
it's crazy to think about now.
No cell phones, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I remember talking to my mom, and she said, well, you're going to get a job as an artist and make like $5 an hour. And I was like, oh, yeah. And she goes, what else do you want to do? I go, well, I've always wanted to do real estate. So I called this real estate company. They do corporate relocation. And I'm like, well, I really always wanted to do real estate, but I don't know much about what I'd have to do it. And he said, why don't you come in? And so I went in, and he met me. It was Peter Acacella. He was a beautiful man who had this company in New York. And he said, I think you'd be really good at it. All you have to do is take this course. And then when you're done, you're hired. You can come. And so I tried that for a year, and it was fun until it wasn't fun anymore. Just kept going and to find a thing. But the thing that people don't realize, or they may realize or they may not, is that it's not like you're giving up something and you don't take it with you. You take whatever you learned. Sometimes the most valuable thing is to learn what you're not supposed to be doing. Or you don't even realize how doing that one thing that you're not going to be doing anymore helps form what you are going to be doing in the future. So it's really never wasted. I think people are afraid of wasting time that they spent investing in it, money.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what's more important, your freedom to do the thing that's going to make you happy, or the money you invested and the time? It's
such a good tip.
It's so true.
Wow.
I used to say that about raw food. I'm like, what's more important, those pancakes or your new life? What's more important, that thing that you're holding on to? Like, if you're holding on to a business that's glass bottles, like, are they going to be clanking behind you when you're flying high doing human design? Or, you know, is that really that ugly old sofa? Do you want that? Do you need that? Like, so many people are held down actually by physical belongings. So or food that's not serving them, or relationships. So they can say, what's more important, that or my new life?
Love that.
Chills.
That's so good.
It's across the board. It's all tied together.
Yes.
I think that's what I'm trying to say, is that the home, the food, the relationships, the job, you can't separate them. They all need to be clean, clear, and bright. And they all are not at any given moment. So for everyone, for me included. So you just have to go, oh, that's not feeling so clean, clear, and bright. How can I clean it up?
That's something you could write a book about, because that is what you do. It ties it all in.
Right.
It really does.
You're intuitive, because the Akashic reader that I was doing a podcast for, in the middle of, I was speaking and she goes, a book. Yes, a book is coming.
She gets it. She knows.
Yeah.
Wow.
So something's coming.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, everybody.
Yes.
Stuff is coming.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I knew you guys would be two people who I could say that to. Basically say anything. What do people need to hear? And have like very powerful words come out. So thank
sweet.
you.
You're so intuitive for pulling us together for this. It's just like a really good energy, and such a pleasure to be with you both here.
Heaven.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Heaven.
I was overjoyed when I found out I was coming back to LA and you were still going to be here.
I know.
As of like, what, one more day?
Yeah.
Let's kidnap her.
It was meant to be. Yeah.
I'm going to kidnap her.
Soon.
I'll be back.
So tell everybody listening where they can find you guys.
Just jennazoe.com or Jenna Zoe on Instagram.
You're the same, right?
Same.
Your name.com and your name on Instagram.
Yeah,
right?
Dara Dubinet, Dubinet.
We'll put it in the show notes too. Thank you guys so much for being here. This was so special.
So much fun.
So much fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this Best of the Show episode. I'm so happy to be able to release some of these episodes with our very inspiring guests. And I know some of these are solo episodes, so whichever you just listened to, I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope that it served you well on your path and left you feeling inspired to live a more soul on fire life. So please, if this show served you or inspired you, I would be so honored if you would leave a rating and review in iTunes if you have time this week or anytime. And if you send me a screenshot to jordan@thebalancedblonde.com, I will send you a free gift as a thank you. Also, please join us in our Soul on Fire podcast tribe on Facebook. Be sure to check out and support our sponsors of the show, which can be found in the show notes. We have some amazing sponsors of this show, from Four Sigmatic Mushroom Coffee to Cured Nutrition, CBD, to Hum Nutrition, beauty supplements. So these are things that I take every single day that I want everyone to know about. So definitely check out all of those discount codes that you can find in the show notes, because this is stuff that I want you to enjoy to the fullest and use in your life, and also get those special discount codes. So thank you so much for being here. I'm already so excited to come back with new episodes after my hiatus, and I hope that me putting myself first during this season of my life will inspire you to do the same in your life, whatever you are dealing with or going through. And if you're more interested to hear about my time off and my hiatus, I have a solo episode all about it that you can find. I believe it is, let's see here, episode 156. So enjoy that if you haven't listened yet, and have an amazing Soul on Fire day. I love you. I'm so happy that you're here. And just know that when I am ready to be back, I will be back with bells on, and can't wait to connect then. I love you guys. You can also find me on Instagram I'm not currently taking an Instagram hiatus, so you can find me at The Balanced Blonde there, and let's connect. Mwah. Have an amazing day.